Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Got a question on my most recent video from a longtime viewer, I believe, and it's from a guy named Andrew. I want to say thank you for your question, Andrew, and thank you for watching for all this time. And Andrew's question is, Joe, how do you balance the impossible, unbelievable things that the universe/higher self shows you about the twin flame journey that never pan out in reality? I have asked for an improbable sign to affirm that a certain someone was my twin flame, and it was answered. I've had crazy telepathic connection with her when she was in extreme pain. I've had precognitive dreams about her that come true the next day. How do I believe anything when she doesn't come in or forward? I'm friendly with her, but she just shows no awareness. I can't believe in anything when I have been shown this stuff and it never materializes. I would be happy to communicate this stuff with her and just be friends. It just drives me crazy. Okay. First and foremost, I feel your pain. And the reason that I'm laughing a little bit is because this sounds just like me a few years ago. And I'm going to make an effort to address this. Before I do so, I've been having a little bit of trouble deciding how I wanted to move forward with making videos because I've changed so much, and my perceived need for privacy, given the repercussions of some of my previous content, has increased. So I'm less willing to share about certain things, especially when they concern others, other groups, other people. It's just that I've moved to a different stage in my life, and I would rather discuss the concepts, the topics. I would rather try to teach that than create stress and drama and wonder how someone's going to receive something that I might say. So I just wanted to state that. But the reason I'm saying this is because I've been thinking about, after this question, approaching this more with the format of answering questions. Excuse me, sorry. So if you have a question for me, if you've been watching the channel, or if you're new to the channel and you have a question, and I feel that that it may be relevant to everyone, I'll take a stab at it. And that may be kind of how I get the ball rolling here. So again, thank you, Andrew, for your question. So, I find your question unique because it doesn't sound like you're actually questioning whether or not twin flames are real. I think it's that you're questioning your own interpretation of the signs that you're getting. So I think that the first thing I'm going to say is that the types of experiences that you are having happen, I've had all of them. I've spoken about all of these on my channel at one point or another. But it does not, those things happening do not necessarily mean, in the words of the old man, I used to watch Mel Brand a lot, and his channel Gold Ray Twin Flames. In the words of the old man, it doesn't mean a relationship is pending, right? This does not mean that you're going to end up in a relationship with this person. Now, you may feel heart connection with this person, and they may show signs of feeling absolutely nothing for you, which was the case for me with the person that that I had this type of connection with, starting about 7 years ago. Met a person, had a heart chakra opening. I didn't even know what that was. All this crazy stuff started happening, including a lot of things that you're talking about. Some of it I was embellishing in my own imagination, but some of it was really, some of it was legit, and I was confirming it with this other person. So, but I did try to fit a lot of things into the story that I was telling myself about it, right? I tried to make things true. And when people would say things to me like, hey, maybe you're not supposed to be with this person, or maybe this isn't your twin flame, or maybe, when they would say anything to the contrary, I would get angry, and in my mind, I would rationalize my own belief, right? And what I started doing later on was approaching it more scientifically. And so instead of trying to fit the pieces of evidence and the data to what I believed, I started basing what I believed off of more off of the evidence and the data and the knowledge that I accumulated as I went along, right? Now, I haven't spoken to you for, about this for any length of time. So I'm not saying that you are doing this. I'm simply sharing, where I was at and what I was doing and what I've shifted. So there's so much to go over with this topic, and my own understanding of this topic has shifted so much. However, I would say that any of the content that I produced on twin flames or shadow twins or any of that within the past probably about 2 years, in my opinion, based on the evidence that I have, based on my experience, especially in this last year after meeting Sydney, I would say 100% that, that's an interesting, I kind of fumbled that a little bit. I would say confidently that most of what I taught and what I said about that seems to have been accurate, right? When I think about the things that I postulated and the concepts that I put forth, in terms of, like there's a few of the videos that are still up. I've still got to go through some of the older ones. Some of them I just don't want to put up because the energy is really negative, and I don't want that message out there anymore. It's not who I am anymore. I'm going to take some of the older content, as I've said a million times. I've already said this a couple times, but I'm going to take some of the older content, take snippets out, and talk about where I was at on my journey during that time and explain what was going on, because there was a period of time where it really just wasn't okay. I was going through, dark night of the soul, shamanic initiation, just got out of a facility I'm not going to discuss right now, was dealing with black magicians, was dealing with dark occultists, had a lot going on in my life, didn't know how to deal with any of it. So a lot of the content was, some of it was almost like a cry for help in the beginning. Some of it was trying to expose some of what was happening to me without being too direct. There was just a lot going on. But anyway, so most of that information, I believe, is accurate. And one of the things that I would say repeatedly was, let go of who you think it is, right? Let go of the idea that you're going to have to end up with this person someday, somehow, some way, right? Because for one, if you look around at the information on twin flames right now, I do believe that there is an objective truth behind how this operates, right? But that doesn't mean that there can't be, for example, differences in the way that it might operate in your realm that you're creating around yourself and mine based on our own belief systems, right? Your belief has a large effect on how your reality functions, regardless of whatever mechanism is behind that. That is verifiably true. Even mainstream science would agree, maybe not with the mechanism behind which the belief changes your reality, but they would at least agree with the conclusion that your belief about yourself and about the world does in fact change the way that you interact with the world and the way the world interacts with you, right? Regardless of the mechanism. Now, I would argue that there are actual you know, changes going on metaphysically, but that's just a lot to get into. We don't need to. But the point of me bringing this up is that everybody and their brother who talks about twin flames has some different idea about how it works. All right. Some people believe it's only one person and that's it. And some people believe that twin flames are like incredibly rare and, only happens like once in an eon. And, that if you're not like at the level of like Jesus and Mary Magdalene, for example, then you can't be twin flames. And then there's people like myself who believe that we're all twin flames. It's just that you don't actually meet that person until you're at a certain level of consciousness. And where we're at in the Yuga cycles right now, we're at the end of a 26,000 year cycle. We're in a transitionary period. We're moving into a new energetic paradigm, right? At this point, many people are meeting the other parts of what you would call their soul. Now, if you go watch my Twin Flames and the Magic of 12 video, I'll post a link if I remember, but you can search for it or just check out my channel. But that explains the basic construct of the soul. Like 12 incarnates makes one soul. 12 souls makes one oversoul. Incarnates are in density 1, which is essentially 12 egos, 12 individuals, right? All share a soul at density 2. And then, 12 souls share an oversoul, 12 oversouls share an avatar, and then 12 avatars make up a rishi in density 5 in the primal light and sound fields. Now, that's like advanced chelantic science, but regardless of whether or not it functions that way, again, for practical purposes, it doesn't matter, right? And this is what people are missing. Everybody's arguing over all the details. What really matters is the philosophy behind it, which is why I have stated unequivocally, don't worry about who it is, right? The fact of the matter is that you're out your journey, if you're someone especially who's on an awakening path, and relationships are a part of that, right? For some, relationships are going to be a much bigger part of their journey in this lifetime than others. For other people, other things are way more important to them. For me, it's relationships. Relationships are really important to me. It's in my chart. I'm built to be in a relationship, right? So, for me, that was just something that was really important. But if that is something that's important for you, or even it might be really important to you, it might be moderately important, but if you're on an awakening path and you're going through phases of growth and relationships are part of that, you're going to have interface with other people, which are going to serve as reflections, right? And in my experience, that first person that I met 7 years ago at the time was reflecting a part of myself back to me that I hadn't looked at before, right? And likewise, the second person, the quote unquote shadow twin, right, doing the same thing, right? But essentially a reflection of my lower ego, which I was in at the time due to the previous experience and the PTSD and the alcoholism and the things that I was going through at the time, right? And now I've met Sydney, and here's the thing about this, right? Like, I'm trying to be very careful about what I speak about on the channel for various reasons I don't want to go into. But I will say one thing. When I met her, it was like meeting all of those people wrapped up into one person. It was like I was seeing all of them, and like there was weird things happening. Like the timelines were playing out identically to one of the other ones. There was a lot of really, really strange stuff, right? But I think I might be straying away from my point a little bit here. The point is that the approach that needs to be taken with this is not the approach of like, I'm doing this to get with another person, right? There's a great video by a guy, New World All-Star. I'm not affiliated with him, but he's got a great video that explains a piece of this, and it's essentially explaining. You can extrapolate this out to you and the entire universe, right? But it's essentially the idea that like you and this other person are not. The idea that you are separate entities is illusory, right? But when you start to dig into that a little deeper, you realize that's the case with you and everything, right? Everything inherently has to logically be part of the all, whatever all of it is. Everything has to be a part of that, right? Thusly, you are also a part of that, and it is a part of you. The thing about your twin flame, right? And if you do the 12 clock cycle, right, you got the 6 and the 12, which are the primary set of twins. Basically what that other person is to you is they are just let's do a visualization exercise. Imagine that you've got a spider web, right? And all of the different nodes on the spider web have a drop of water on it, right? And there's a light source somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is, right? But the light source hits one droplet of water. Well, naturally, because water is transparent, all of the droplets of water, if you were to view them from a certain angle, you'd be able to see, not only would you see the light source, but you would also see the reflection of the light source in any of the other droplets of water if you were to look in really closely at it, right? Now, imagine that all of the droplets of water are reflecting all of the lights from all of the other droplets of water plus the light source, and this thing just goes on and on and on and on, right? Now, imagine that each droplet of water is a being, right? One is you and one is your twin flame. Think of it like this. Your twin flame is just the droplet of water that is like the closest to you. So it's like looking at an exact mirror. And this gets down to a freaky level. Like with me and her, we feel the same emotions all the time. We finish each other's sentences all the time. We will literally do things like be sitting down eating a meal and we'll both take a bite and sniffle and then say or something in exact timing, exact sequence, like constantly. There's just like so many things. It's absolutely ridiculous. I remember like when I met her, I was just like, are you even real? Like, this is really weird. The novelty of it eventually wears off and you just get used to it, and it's like anything else. But when we looked at like our pasts, right, our timelines, like even like what we would be doing on a given day, I would be at work and I would go outside for a quick break and do some breath work and meditate, and I would text her and she would be outside doing breath work and meditating, like freaky, right? And when we would look at like our past, it was like, what were you doing during like this period of time? And we found that at any point we looked at, it was either we were doing an identical thing, or somehow it was exactly mirrored, right? Because I'm a male, she's a female. It's like an exact mirror on every level, right? We're either identical or polar opposites on every level with everything we've ever talked about, period. And I remember like for months conversations going on of like, I would tell her a story and I'd be like, I don't know, I really love ketchup, and it would, whatever it was, if I told a story, she'd have one just like it. And if I said I love something, she would say, yeah, me too. It was just the phrase, yeah, me too, became just like something we would laugh at because it was so like unbelievably ridiculous. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off on tangents here. The entire time, right, that like prior to meeting her, what was I saying on my channel? Let go of who you think it is. Let go of thinking that how it all operates when you haven't gotten. Like it was like I was arrogant, right? Like I would make all these videos 4 or 5 years ago saying, this is how it works. This is how twin flame. It's like, I didn't know. I didn't really know. I just knew what other people were telling me. Now I have direct experience. And the weird thing is, the more direct experience that I have, the less I'm willing to say that I know. Like, I'm at this place where I'm like, yeah, I just had like the absolutely most crazy experience the girl I've ever had in my entire life. Like, blew everything else away, like completely out of the water by far. Like, no comparison to anything else. Like, absolutely the most crazy, intense psychic connection, love, like the whole thing. Like, the most in love I've ever been in my whole life. Right? Completely proved everything that I had been saying, and I couldn't even talk about it. Like, I couldn't talk about it. I just couldn't. Yeah. So, and at this point, it's like the details in terms of like how it all works is like not super relevant. What is relevant is that before that, I was saying, let go of who you think it is, let go of the need to be with that other person. Work on yourself. If you're feeling this longing sensation, look at why. If this person is reflecting back things to you that frustrate you, that's what you need to work on. It's essentially like you need to work on the fear-based energy, and you've got to change the emotional roller coaster that you're on, and you're going to be given a set of challenges by this other person that is equal to the level that you're at. They will interact with you just enough to throw you off balance. And I have a video on here about twin flame union, and it literally looks like a sine wave, and it talks about negative emotions. It talks about the emotional roller coaster. It talks about separation and union and how that occurs in phases. There's not phases like a lot of people try to say, oh, these are the stages of twin flames. It's totally unique for everyone, right? But there are cycles, right? And that will look however it looks for you. In my opinion, this is, I'm not going to tell you whether somebody's your twin flame because it doesn't matter. What does matter is that you take that reflection and you use it as a means of working on yourself and getting yourself balanced and centered and letting go of the need for them to be doing or saying or being a certain way or thing for you to be okay. When I met her, and I know this is why, I had let all of that go and I was focused on me. I was healthy. I was having a good time. I was jogging every day. I was making friends. I was, and it was like it was like last year, in the middle of all this craziness that's going on in the world. Now, I'm very grateful that I'm in Florida. So, I got it a little easier than a lot of people. But I mean, in the middle of all of this, I somehow managed to literally get to the best place in my life. And that's when she showed up. And this person that you're interacting with, you love her. That's amazing. Feel that love. I'm not saying it won't happen with this person because it totally could. She could be the one, and you guys might end up being happily ever after, right? But you have to it's not like you have to be happy about the idea that it might not happen, but you have to come to a place of acceptance with it, right? And anybody who the problem, the thing that we do is because we want to hear a tarot reader or somebody tell us, oh, this is your person, right? And we want somebody to get our hopes up because at the time that's what we think we want, right? We allow that to happen and we believe that. And then we miss the important part, which is that our energy actually isn't congruent with that, right? Had I met Sydney a couple of 3 years ago, this never would have worked. I was not nearly developed enough. I needed to work on a lot of things before we would have been able to do this, I had stuff I had to work on. So what I thought I wanted, I wasn't even capable of at the time. And I'm not making any like evaluations for you. I'm just telling you where I was, right? It's just, you got to let go of the idea that it has to be them. And you have to let go of like the fear of not being loved, essentially, is what it boils down to. The fear that you're never going to be with them, right? And what people do is they allow, right? There are a lot of people who say twin flames aren't even real, or, that twin flames, there's a lot of people that say they're not even meant to be together. There's a lot of people that say that. Usually those are people who have had a dynamic like that and couldn't make it work. But still, I mean, that's valid in their experience, right? There's people that say, there's people that say all kinds of things, and people tend to believe what they want to believe, which is in congruence with where they're at, right? Or what they want, rather than looking at it objectively. I'm saying throw all of that out and just work on yourself. And if you do that and you're meant to find that person, they will show up, and it might be her or it might be someone else. And I'm going to tell you, the first person that I thought was my twin flame, right? I still have love for that person. I think she's great. I wish her well, as well as the other person, right? I wish them all well. But for me, especially who I am now, I could not have asked for anything more than Sydney. And it didn't even occur to me that someone like her could exist. It was she was everything on the list that I asked for, and a bunch of stuff I didn't even think of, couldn't have even thought of, wouldn't have even imagined were possible to exist in a single person, right? Attributes and qualities, and the whole 9 yards, right? So by letting go of what I thought I wanted, I got something even better. You see? The most important thing that people say about twin flames is that you need to learn to be okay on your own. It doesn't mean, look, it's okay to want a relationship. It's okay to want to be in love. It's okay to want a pair bond. It's okay to want to get married someday. There's nothing wrong with those things. The point is to get to a place where you can feel fulfillment, feel joy, feel these things on your own. And then if and when you come together with your twin flame or just another person, right, you're able to complement each other. You're able to add to each other, right? Rather than needing that other person to be okay. And look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I still haven't struggled with some of those things, because I was a deeply codependent person with drug addiction issues, okay? I still have, some needy tendencies that come out sometimes, and you know what I mean? I still have some of those things. But you will, if you actually get to a point vibrationally where you're ready to meet your twin flame, yep, you're gonna go through the bubble love thing, and then that stuff is gonna come up, but it's gonna come up for you to look at, and you're gonna be able to see it. Now, when you get with your twin flame, right, or you get with someone that you perceive to be a twin flame or whatever, right? Honestly, if you're someone like me who never really was able to make a relationship work, this is where the hard work starts. You think it's hard now. This is where the actual rubber meets the road. This is where you get tested. This is where, I mean, you don't have, if you go through a separation phase, you'll have all the time in the world to think about it, which I did. But when you're actually with that person, if you're living together or something like we are, it's it's very fast paced. You don't get the breathing room. You don't get the timeouts. You don't get the, you know what I mean? You've got to be able to keep yourself centered, process, respond rather than react. Like, you've got to do all these things in real time on the fly. The easy part is actually like before that, when they're not around and you're only interfacing with them, let's say astrally or psychically for the most part. And the situation that you're in, Andrew, it's exactly what it was like for me. It's exactly what it was like for me. That person never gave me the time of day, never talked to me, would ghost me for like years. And I was like madly in love with her. So I know how it feels. But believe me when I tell you that it does get better. And if you have a desire for like a beautiful, meaningful relationship, you can have that. Like, you can. And if you put in the effort, you will get there. You will. A lot of it boils down to your belief in yourself. Yeah, I hope that this is all well received, and that I'm not coming across as like condescending in any way. But I went through hell to get here, and I know what it's like. So, and I know what it feels like when you haven't had certain experiences yet. But you will, and it will make sense when you do, I promise. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. You're going to have your own framework for this, right? Like, you're going to have your own internal like understanding of how it operates, and it's going to be different than mine, and it's going to be different than anybody else who talks about these topics, right? Nobody's ever going to see it the same way that you are. But in my opinion, it's real. It's real. And you know, she believes the same thing. And we're like two peas in a pot, man. Yeah. We are like, it's like goober central over here. We're very goofy. I'm very goofy. I've been like, I probably will bring some more of that out as I get more comfortable on camera again. And she's really having, it's like doing, she's doing a great job doing like, she's doing TikTok classes. If you guys want to check her out, it's Human Garage on TikTok. She's been doing a couple of classes a week on there. She's also got her own TikTok page. And it's, I believe it's Simple Synergy Human Garage, but I'll post a link down below. We've got a couple of different pages and stuff, but we're getting there. But part of the reason why, just a small little reason why it's taking a little time, is because sometimes I have a hard time being like serious and in certain types of videos. I just I goof around a little too much. So. But yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. But anyway, let me just reread your question, and I'm going to probably wrap it up here. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just letting go of attachment to the outcome, which sounds wonderful when people say it, right? But it's freaking hard. I know, I still can't do it most of the time, but with this one thing, I managed to, I guess, do it to, a good enough level where, we're together, right? And things are moving in a positive direction. We're building a business together. Like, we're gonna have a life, and that's one of the things the old man used to say. Be like, you don't have to be perfect, like you know, reasonably, like, you know, good will do. Like, it's not about being perfect. It's not about never feeling an emotion again. It's not about never feeling sad or ever feeling needy again or ever feeling angry at that other person again or any of those things, right? Because you're still a human being. You're still in a human body. You still have an ego. You still have shadow issues. You still have fucking bullshit screwing with you. And, you know, you're eating, you know, I mean, you might be eating, you know, totally clean, but most people aren't. Now, I can't say that I am. I'm doing a damn good job, you know, mostly organic and, you know, all the arts. But I mean, I'm surrounded by, you know, this and everything that entails and everything you all are, you know. This place is messy, you know. It's about making progress, not being perfect. And, you know, like I said, I've been saying this for years. The people that get on these channels and try to act like all like holier than thou and pious are largely blowing smoke up your ass. So, you know, that's why I never listen to people like that. I listen to people that talk to me like, you know, I'm sitting in the room with them and I'm a friend and, you know, we're on the same level and like we're both, you know, we got our feet on the damn ground. You know, so yeah, I talk about metaphysics and, you know, woo-woo concepts, but I like to think of myself as a fairly grounded, like practical, like kind of normal guy. People that meet me, I don't talk about any of this stuff in public anymore, like ever, unless someone brings it up. You know, people that meet me out there, they have no idea that I talk about this stuff or do this stuff. They just think I'm a regular guy. Oh yeah, he's just a mechanic. Yeah. He's a nice guy, and he's really, you know, he always smiles at me and tips me, whatever, right? Like, you know, they don't know, and I don't need to tell them. This isn't for them. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to be done. Thank you for your question, Andrew, and thank you for watching, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And, you know, anybody else, you got any questions, feel free to throw them at me. I think that this question format thing might be a good way that you could support me in getting rolling again if you would like. So I could use a little assistance. I need a little encouragement, to be honest. You know, like I said, it's a journey, man. So thank you guys for watching it, and thank you all for the lovely comments and the encouragement that you have shown in my last couple of videos. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you guys again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below and click the icon to your left to subscribe. New content every week about spirituality and addiction from myself, Joe Fortin. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.